Hi, I'm Nikki Fargas, and welcome to Top of the Key. We will talk about the athletes who defy the depth chart, break out of the box score, and bring it on every inch of the floor. But today, joining me is our broadcast team, Carolyn Peck and Krista Blanc. Welcome, ladies.
All right, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about the WNBA's most unstoppable do-it-all game changers. And let's start with our very own, Krista. Let's talk about A'ja Wilson, how dominant she has been.
You have to put her first. She is the reigning MVP, and she is the perfect example of the type of player that you're starting to see more and more across the league. They can do everything from bring the ball up to post you up inside. They rebound, they're shot blockers. I mean, it's just incredible. And when you think about A'ja, the areas of improvement, she wasn't a big three-time shooter, if even a three-point shooter at all, but then incorporated that into her game. This year coming in, I want to bring the ball up more. I'm going to work on my assist game. Her assists are up to 4 assists per game compared to the previous years per game. And so that is what makes her stand out so much more, is that she's never satisfied. She might be an MVP, but there's always something she wants to improve upon.
Well, the thing I like about A'ja Wilson is that it's both sides of the ball. And she can defend. It's no longer back to the basket post players that are down on the block or those that are just defending in the paint. A'ja can defend the guards away from the basket. She can pick up full court if she needs to. And so I think that is where this game, the women's game, has moved to.
Well, when I think about A'ja Wilson and you know, going back to my coaching days, you don't have to fit her in. Basically, she fits in wherever is needed.
That's true.
Yeah. And when we think about positionless players, I want to shift over to Napheesa Collier, because she's another great example, Carolyn, of what it is to play multiple positions, and she also impacts the game in every phase.
Well, you talk about a player that fits just about anywhere. When you look at what Napheesa did in the Olympics, she played the 3. And then when she comes back with the Minnesota Lynx, she plays the 4 because she's got that diverse skill set. When you look at the ability to shoot the 3, shooting 48% from the floor, almost 44% from the three-point line, and she is the reigning WNBA Defensive Player of the Year. It's another post player, a long 6'1" post that, if you want to put her in a position that can defend the guards, that can play all over the floor, and then offensively, another one of these players that can bring it in transition.
Yeah, and just a mismatch. I mean, it's almost impossible to figure out how are you going to defend a player like her, because she is basically a point guard in a post body.
Right.
Well, another player that we want to talk about who's truly positionless is Breanna Stewart. She can post up like a center. She can shoot the ball with range like a wing, and she handles and passes the ball like she's a point guard. So again, Krista, Breanna Stewart, she doesn't fit a role. She is a player who creates a role. And so let's just talk about why she is one of those elite players in our league.
Well, she's incredibly efficient too. I mean, it's just really impressive, just her numbers. But when you see she is 6'4", bringing the ball up, and you think, how is this possible? You wouldn't have thought about that in years past, right? But that's the direction. These players know, I'm going to work on all aspects of my game. And for Stewie, it's improved in her assist numbers. She's up to almost 4 assists per game. But this is a player who's also their top shot blocker. The other thing that she does well, she gets to the free throw line. And a lot of these players, they're aggressive because they're playing inside and out. They get to the free throw line with incredible numbers.
When you look at New York, how many times does Breanna Stewart touch the basketball? And it's not just to shoot the ball, but it's to make the offense work. And I think that is what has made her so successful. When you look at all the championships she won at UConn, she won championships at Seattle, and coming off a world championship for the New York Liberty.
I think we got to give Breanna Stewart her credit on the defensive side of the basketball, because with that 7'1", did we say 7'1" or 7'2"? Wingspan.
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to get to a lot of baskets and be a great rim protector. A quiet elite example is Nneka Ogwumike. She is one of those players, again, when you talk about undersized, she's efficient, she's mobile, but more importantly, talk about also her leadership.
Well, I mean, she's led the Players Union. I mean, that just really exemplifies how much respect she commands from the league. But when it comes to on the floor, she can lead by example, because this is a player, you talked about efficient, you mentioned efficient. In her 13 seasons, she has not shot south of 50%. It's everything above, and she's shooting almost 55% this season. And it's not just in the paint. She's shooting the 3. She's got a mid-range jumper. And then she attacks. She's got the strength to finish inside. I mean, this is another one of these players, again, that when you look at being 6'2", and still being able to average almost 17 points a game in the league, and she's done that throughout her whole career. Nneka Ogwumike, again, one of these positionless players that is a star in this league because she can play so many different positions.
And she's a leader. You see it on the floor. Her communication. She's a smart player. She makes smart decisions. She doesn't make a lot of mistakes, right? And that leads to that efficiency as well. She makes the right decisions, and it's paying off. Her numbers just keep getting better as she keeps playing in this league.
I mean, we can keep going and going on about these individuals, but we got to get to a few more. And I want to talk about Alyssa Thomas, Krista. AT, as everybody knows her as, but she is a fantastic example of positionless player. A lot of times you tag a player like that as a point forward because she's able to distribute the basketball with the size and the authority that she plays with.
Her strength and ability, who would think that she's the primary ball handler bringing the ball up for your team? But they list her at 6'2", so strong, but her passing ability and her ability also, again, gets to the free throw line. She's had injuries that she's played through, but she's always looking for her teammates. She's the one that creates it and sets it up. I love her versatility, and when you talk about mismatches and tough guards, she's one of the toughest to guard, but primarily because of her strength. She reminds me a lot of Jackie Young.
I don't know why any opponent would take a charge from Alyssa Thomas. Because, I mean,
I'm not standing in her way. There's not.
Not at all, because she goes with authority. And understand the numbers, the triple doubles that she's been able to put up. And she's got 2 torn labrums.
Yeah.
And still plays through that, has not taken the time to fix those because she wants to continue to play. Yeah. She's like, I'll take care of that when my career's over.
Well, the reigning MVP of last year's finals, we have got to talk about one of the most dominating centers in the game. And again, positionless. That's what this topic is about, positionless players. And you might put Jonquel Jones in a category as a center, but she does more for her team than just post up.
Don't let 6'6" fool you, because at 6'6", Jonquel Jones is probably one of the most impactful players in this league because she can shoot the three, because she can handle the ball like a guard. And the passing of all of these players that we've talked about, these are bigs that have that passing skill, the ability to set up their teammates and make things happen on the floor. And Jonquel Jones, I just watched Golden State play New York without her. So that really, I think, exemplified what an impact and what a major piece of New York's whole scheme, offensively and defensively, because they really missed her. That game came down to 2-3 points.
Yep, she's a game changer, completely a game changer. She's the player that, if she puts her mind to it, she can take over a game, and we've seen her do that. We've seen them be down in games, we've seen close games, and when she gets that look in her eye, look out, because she can flip it around, and it's outside, it's inside, and she's really difficult to stop. And that length, you talked about her passing, I think the length is a plus in being able to have that court vision.
All these players that we have talked about, the common thing is that they're over 6 feet, and they play multiple positions, and that just shows the evolution of women's basketball, because you also have players like Satu Sabali, Ezi Magbagor. You can just keep going down. Aaliyah Boston is starting to expand her game. You've got Dominique Malunga, who's a rookie this season, that has the same skill set to come in, and that's where these younger players at home, listen, don't think just because you're over 6 feet and your coach wants to put you on the block that you don't work on your ball handling skills, because this is where the league's going to.
Well, ball handling and shooting skills, because all of these ladies that we talked about can definitely put the ball in the hole. The beauty of positionless basketball, it's not just about where you play. It's about how you impact the game, and that's what you guys were referencing when you talked about the impact that they have on their teams. And this WNBA stars, they're rewriting the roles, they're blurring the lines, and they're setting a new standard of what greatness looks like. And thank you, Krista and Carolyn, for your insight. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Nikki Fargas, and that's our breakdown from Top of the Key.